you want to do that?
Hey!
There we go. Hey! God, that's what a palaver. What a palaver. Okay, I'm glad we didn't do this with Matt Letizia because this would be really embarrassing. Really embarrassing. Oh,
I know. Well, we said at the time, didn't we? I think going live, streaming to both channels for the first time with such a big guest would have been a bad idea. And guess what? We were right.
We were right. We were absolutely right. Yeah, that would have been really embarrassing. But yeah, so we can have a little play around with this now, can't we? It doesn't really matter what happens. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
So we can. That's a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. I have to say that was a lot more complicated.
Yeah, you're gonna have to totally. Yeah, show me how to do that off camera another time.
Yeah, we'll do. So, well, I'm guessing that's it. We're live. Let me just check to see if we're going live.
Yeah, I'll check too on my phone. Live.
Oh yeah. Wowzers. Okay, welcome everyone for if you're watching. It even gives us a little comment. Stellify, love you guys. How you doing, Stellify?
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
It's Ant.
Do you know who that is?
It's Ant Critchley. He does a podcast called Stellify. I've known Ant for since the beginning of the pandemic. I'm going to be very careful about what I say after our removal of our Matt Letizia video today. So yeah, Ant runs the Stellify podcast. We've done a lot of work together. In fact, Ant put me on at the Crown over 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it is now, and it was my first talk telling people about the legal and banking system. They just opened the pubs back up, but you weren't allowed indoors. You know, all that malarkey. So it's nice to see Ant here.
Fair enough. That's good. Nice to see you, Ant, Stellify, and hello, Zuza. Hello to. I'm not going to say that. So I'm guessing all these comments are. I'm guessing all these comments are coming from YouTube. Yeah, that's good to know. Okay, it's nicely synced. We're all nicely synced in. That's good. Yeah, so just bear with us, everyone, if you're watching. This is our first ever live stream with myself, John Cooper, and Carly Spell from Dark Matters. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, I think, aren't we, Carly? I want to talk to you about Dark Matters and why this is going to be the future, right? Because we're going to hack the matrix of your Dark Matters, aren't we? We can do some good stuff.
Yeah, I hope so. And it's really cool that we connected however many months ago. And congratulations, by the way, 10,000. And it's gone up since 10,000. So, and that's amazing. I know. That is a real milestone, isn't it? I mean, and I'm going to big you up here. So I know you probably go like, oh, no. But you have got such a lovely style and warmth and calmness, and the way you question and the way you kind of put guests at ease, and so it's not a surprise to me. And you have a really good crossover ability, John, which I'm learning from, because I'm told that my main criticisms are, shut up, Carly, let your guest speak. So you know, I am working on that. I wouldn't say I'm the most natural interviewer. I realize it's a skill, but it's a skill you've certainly got, John, that's for sure. So well done.
Thank you. To be honest with you, I kind of ended up in that role because I didn't really know if I had much to talk about with what was going on. You know, I wanted to bring on the guests because I didn't really think that I was the main value of, you know, describing what was going on in the world. But I'm trying to get my confidence back, and maybe I'll end up being able to riff it off like you can, you know, in your interviews. So.
No, don't, John, because your subscribers might go down. You know, but that's your humbleness and your humility, and I'm trying to learn it. I honestly, genuinely have been so used, and this isn't my big head, but to be, you know, used to being interviewed. So learning how to, you know, listen and kind of bounce back, and like I say, you do that really well. So I mean, we'll get on to Dark Matters. I feel like I'm interviewing now, so I'll try and put some of my skills into action. But I suppose finally. So how did you start, John? For those, you know, obviously this is hopefully going out to both our channels. How did you, for people that don't know you, I haven't heard your story, what kind of was that breaking point for you to get you here doing what you're doing today, just out of
what this kind of podcast, you mean? You know,
yeah, kind of, you know, I have changed kind of. Oh right,
years,
yeah, well, yeah. What kind of, especially you know, in relation to
Well, I think it's changed a lot in the last 5 years. I mean, before that, I mean, I won't go too much into it. We'll do another show on this maybe, but you know, I was a coach and I was helping men and women, and I was doing these like tantric dating workshops, you know, all over the world.
Yeah,
and,
baby.
You know, yeah. And I became a disruptor in an industry, and I was developed a philosophy that I taught, but I got a bit burnt out with it, to be honest with you. And I also was a little bit, I felt like I had a bigger audience than just men and women romantically and trying to get, you know, so I kind of set the intention to find something new, like a new platform, a new, like I almost had to break myself down to find the new me, if you know what I mean. And I had to close all the old stuff down, because I think every now and then in your life you have to reset back to factory settings, I think. Otherwise I feel like I go a bit stale. And I'd kind of already been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and I was kind of, for about 5 years doing the coaching, I was like, I've done it all now. I'm like, I'm not learning anymore from this. So, and then suddenly 2019, you know, 20 happened, and I was like, this is pretty scary, but in a way it was good. I kind of perversely enjoyed it because I knew that this is going to be my new thing to take on. You know? And I didn't want to do it. Like this whole channel was actually, I originally set it up to do social experiment stuff on the streets. You know, like kind of go and do, you know, like interacting with strangers and stuff like that, because that was what my old coaching stuff I used to do. So I partitioned the YouTube. So I was like going to call it the John Cooper Show, but then because the lockdowns happened, I started doing the podcast. So I was saying, okay, I'm going to create a new playlist for that. I'm going to call it Raising the Bar, but I don't want to forget about the reason I'm here. But then that took on a life of its own. And for the last 4 years, it's just only been like talking to guests, and it's developed. And I've been so lucky to connect with so many people. In fact, one's here, Mark. How you doing, Mark? Like people like Mark, the bowler hat farmer. What a guy, man! What a guy! Like I'm connecting with these amazing, like pioneers from around the world. You know, so I'm loving it, really. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that's it, isn't it? And I want to contact the bowler hat farmer, maybe get him into the network if he stays around. Hi, bowler hat farmer Mark. Get him into the network and maybe get him on my podcast as well. But I think that's it, isn't it? There was kind of, like you say, maybe a perverse element. Not that we've enjoyed. Well, I mean, I kind of have enjoyed the last 4 years being awake for 20. So, like you say, it kind of, in a way, it was almost like a relief that it was happening, because not in a, like a sick way. Like I said, it does sound a little perverse, but finally that people were starting to see, and that, you know, the last 20 years of me being called a conspiracy hat, or a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, maybe slightly starting to become over, like so. And like you said, John, like you have to kind of reinvent that self and kind of almost go back to your base, the kind of long dark nights of the soul. And Matt Letizia, didn't he, when we interviewed him, touched on that spiritual element and those long dark nights of his soul, to, you know, where he's kind of continued and still stood up and continued talking. So I'm sure you, what was yours, John? What was your biggest long dark night of the soul? Have you had like a breaking point in this malarkey, or like you say, have you kind of weirdly kind of surfed around, you know, the wave?
Well, my biggest dark night of the soul was probably when a girl I loved left to go to Australia, and I never saw her again. So that was probably that aside. The dark night of the soul. You mean like the awakening that happened for you? What do you mean by that? Like,
yeah, I suppose. I mean, I've throughout this had a few times where, you know, it's, you kind of get to the bottom of your own barrel, but it's that phoenix from the flames moment, isn't it? And I suppose, like a lot of, everyone's had personal trials through this, and we use personal loosely, but have you had that kind of almost like a breaking point in it at any time? I'd say the last 2 years were probably the most difficult personally for me, not in work, but
really,
have you had kind of moments like that where you've just thought, you know, this, and sacked it all off, or you just kind of always had that motivation to keep going?
Yeah,
or what motivates you going, if not?
I've come very close to just sacking the whole thing off many times, because you know, the strikes, you get the strikes. I mean, I think it's changed a little bit now. They're allowing a lot more pushback on the jabs and stuff now. Jibs, sorry. if the algorithm's going to get strike this now. So that was like really winding me up, because I was doing some really good videos and we were like trying to get the truth out there, and they were immediately, I had it on private, I had these videos on private, hadn't even published them, and they were giving me a strike. And then I got to 2 strikes. I'm thinking one more strike and then I'm out of here. So I had to like leave it for 3 months. And then you pick it back up again and you get another strike and you're thinking, is this even worth it? So it's like you're constantly walking that tightrope, and all you're doing is trying to question these huge, powerful entities, these huge corporations, for the good of humanity. I mean, it's just like everything's so inverted. Like we were the ones trying to wake people up, save lives, make sure people wouldn't die. We were sounding the alarm, and yet we were the most ostracized, discriminated, persecuted group in the world, weren't we? I mean, we were literally they literally saw us as vermin. They actually wanted us dead, remember?
Yeah.
At one point.
Absolutely. And don't you think it and don't you think it's interesting, John, that almost, with the elections, it's almost like the brainwashed and that kind of zombie mindset, that, mass formation psychosis, those kind of labouring and suffering under that are just kind of forgotten. Or the people, it's like people have kind of forgotten what's happened in the last 4 years, and then they're deciding, do they want the blue psychopath or do they want the red psychopath? And I'm like, really? We've got back to this and everyone's still again paying this attention after, Matt Hancock, famously came on saying, in his WhatsApp text, deploy the next variant. And it's just, don't you think it's just,
I just can't get it.
Mental that people just seem to have just swept it all under the carpet. Those very things that we were vermin, that we were told that we would be left to die in the streets if we weren't jibbed and jabbed and whatnot. It's just absolute insanity, isn't it?
I just can't believe that they were. Sorry, my Wi-Fi all right? Someone told me my Wi-Fi is a bit dodgy, so apologies, everyone.
Oh, it's all right, mine.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Okay, all right, cool. No, I was saying that I was thinking that it's weird. Like they were in that state of hypnosis, forcing everyone to join them in that hypnosis. And if you were slightly outside of that, they would come down on you like a ton of bricks. But then, as soon as it all kind of came out, and Matt Hancock admitting, like you say, to his text of when do we deploy the next variant, it's not waking anyone up. It's just they don't care. In fact, if you mention it to people now, they'll just say, oh, we've moved on now. You're like, no, we haven't moved on now. You need to reflect on what you just went through psychologically, and then we'll move on. We're not going to move on until you realize what you've just done in the last 3 years. That's what I think. That's my opinion on that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's been, it's shocking. It's like I've got to be careful with the words I use here, but it's just following orders. They were just following orders, and it's amazing how people can be so hoodwinked. And I've got this thing where I describe it as screaming stewardess. I call it screaming stewardess syndrome. When you're on a plane and there's a lot of turbulence, I always look at the stewardess, don't you? Because if they're calm, I'm like, okay, this is normal. I'll be calm. But if they panic, then I'm like, shit, this is like serious now, And I think that's how people are hypnotized. You could show them facts saying like there's been 100 people that have died from the in the last week, and they actually will not even register it emotionally or take it in until they see the stewardess, i.e. the man on TV, tell them, and then they get the emotional reaction. They've got such a cord with the authorities and the mainstream media that they will be completely placid, completely like as it normal, like nothing's going on. Then the man on TV says there's a pandemic. Suddenly it's like mass, it's they just cannot think for themselves. So I call that screaming stewardess syndrome, and I think that's what took over the planet. Apart from there's like a small minority of people that could actually think for themselves, do their own research, just had that discernment, I think.
And I wish I'd kept my research for the last 4 years and documented it in that manner, because I started off with viral theory. Really, there's a virus, we like to say that, might bleep that out. Watch my language while I say this, but I'm gonna
guys, if you're watching in the audience, help us come up with some code words here. So what can we use for the T? What's the? We'll say the V. We'll just
The
say
V.
V for
We could
virus.
call the V. Yeah, the V is a good one. So
I know,
I was
that could be
talking
two
about
things
the
though,
V
couldn't it? Yeah, that could be two
yeah.
V's though, couldn't it? Yeah.
We could have the V and the double V. So the V could mean the, and the double V could mean the. I know, and this is the ridiculousness of it, isn't it? You know, and this is this corporate, you know, corporacy. I can never say that word. Corporatocracy.
Yeah.
That we're now under the and the level of censorship, which is, you know, why what I'm doing plug, but it's going to be more and more important as we move forward. But like you say, it's almost like it's just been like wiped from people's minds, this apathy, isn't it, that's still kind of pervading. And also I remember I was looking through some of my old research, and I found, you know, we've got it off the, you know, CDC's own website that masks don't work. You know, we all were on that website when they admitted it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's just utter madness in that sense, but still it continues. Like, you know, people still wondering the masks and you know the thing they used to do up the nose. That's actually what they used to do as a punishment for slaves in Egypt. I've got an image of it where they used to shove like rods up the noses and
unbelievable.
And
what about the anal swab? Do you remember that one?
Well, Friday night with that, John.
Is that for an anal swab? You know, there's going to be people that went out and got the anal swab. You know.
Oh my God! I don't remember
they were just trying loads of different things just to keep pushing to see how far can we lead the sheep, you know, because it got to the point where they were just doing the most wacky thing. They were even suggesting if you're going to have sex with your partner, you should probably do it through a glory hole in the wall, you know, stuff like that. It's just like, you know, it's just people went mad. It was an absolute state of global hysteria, mass formation psychosis, mass hysteria. It's unbelievable. Never forget, never forgive. Absolutely. We have to learn from this. People have to be reminded. And it's funny, you see them now watching the football and they're all like, you know, thousands together, all screaming, throwing beers everywhere. They just don't, like, it's just gone out of their minds because the screaming stewardess syndrome, the man on TV hasn't told them to worry about it anymore. You know, it's incredible how, you know, at least we know now how the world works psychologically and who our enemy are and what we're up against with our fellow man, you know, our friends and family. So I guess it's brought it up to the surface. 2020, isn't it? It just, we can see it all now, I guess. So
the year of 2020 vision, isn't it, that they said. And I think, like you say, with the football, isn't it, it's give them circus and give them bread. You know, this is Rome from thousands and thousands of years ago. We would have been actual slaves, and now we're slaves on paper. We're debt slaves. Give them a, you know, prison that they can't see, touch, taste, hear or smell. And that's what we're in. But this is what we're starting to realize in, you know, once we've got our 2020 vision from 2020, etc. And I actually think, John, they can't stop what's coming. I genuinely think that. I mean, there's is there going to be a collective awakening and or ascension, if you want to kind of use that, a bit more of a woo word, but I think it says, like in the law of one, it may be possible, but is it probable? But it is tipping out there. You know, I absolutely believe that. Do you?
I think there is, but I think it has to still get darker before it gets lighter, if you know what I mean. I think it's going to have to sort of get more dystopian because I would say that, I know here Atlas here saying he woke up 9/11. I think that was a good wake-up call for a lot of us. But I think in the last 5 years, I think it probably woke up about 10%, I would say 15% of the whole population. And that's still a lot of people, mind. You know, that's still like, you know, nearly 1 billion people. So I would say that I mean, there is a big awakening happening. But I also think that as the awakening happens, they're going to bring in more really like extreme totalitarian measures as a counterbalance. So it's going to have to get more dystopian for there to be more of an awakening. And these two dynamics are going to run a parallel, I think, you know, simultaneously. So I think you're going to see people take the next 3 dart finish, you know, as Adam said. That's a great comment, by the way. Thank you for that. Yeah, I want to put, how do I put Amanda's comment on? Hang on. Yeah, yeah, I think that it's going to get more dystopian. I think people are going to choose the social credit system. They're going to go for that out of just pure convenience. There's going to be more climate change BS to kind of push it through. It's basically the Agenda 30 stuff. That's gonna happen. Keir Starmer's going to really accelerate it. But I think that hopefully it's going to really wake us up. Hopefully it will wake another 10, 15% up. And then maybe, unfortunately, a lot of the people that go along with it are gonna maybe not make it because they're probably going to take all the new 3-dart finishes. So yeah, but I don't know. I'm hopeful. You've got to be optimistic. I mean, it's just great that we're having this conversation, and you know, to be part of that great reveal, right?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And that flailing beast of the sea, as we call it in maritime admiralty shipping terms, is, you know, and that's what we've all been labouring under as, you know, Vatican bonded debt slaves, etc. That thing is flailing about now, right? And I think what's happening is as men and women go back to the land, you know, we stand on the land with our souls on the land, hence, you know, the soul of the foot, and we start to take that back. And we start to understand that we can use their own rules against them, because like we're doing a lot in Dark Matters with constitutional law. The power was always reserved by the people for the people. You know, we only delegated the power so that these, you know, our elected representatives can do business of state. But what's happened is they've turned that around on us and gone, actually, and made us persons, which is a state citizen, so that we're subject underneath them. And we're starting to reverse that and take that back. And I think what's happening is there's going to be this there's going to be these false prophets. There's going to be these, you know, fake ascension and etc. and so on. Like you say, it's going to get a little bit darker before the dawn. Hence, you know, the old adage, it's always the darkest before the dawn. And I think even when we get into more like occulted meanings of what's happening, so like Solomon's temple. There were 2 prostitutes in the house with many fathers, which basically means it's kind of quite difficult for us to see who's who, yeah. But what is happening is, you know, like back in the day when the veil was thinner, we'd have seen, like, these are people who are good, these are bad, these are light, these are dark, this is good, this is evil, etc. But it's just become a big melting pot. But what's happening, I think, is for those that have eyes to see, that will start to split. There will start to be a bit of a, you know, we're not trying to be divisive, but I think there will be a bit of a division. And like I say, it's going to get a little bit darker before it gets better, which is why they want us all to be this one homogenized race, And it's nothing to do with being racist. That's an agenda that they're doing. I'm not racist in any way, shape, or form, but I'm very proud of, you know, kind of this land and protecting its history. In law and just in general, because we've been lied to about everything, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think what it is on a spiritual level. I don't want to sound too new agey here, because I'm not. I don't want to go into that kind of world. But let's just say on a larger, kind of more deeper meaning level, it's a mitosis. This is one of my guests mentioned this word. There's a mitosis happening. Like, you know, the splitting of cells happens in mitosis, and then you have like the old cell and then the new cell, the sister cell. And then the old cell ends up like falling away, dying, like, you know, atrophying. And then the new cell remains, right? So there's this mitosis of society, of humanity happening. And then you've got the path of light and then path of the darkness, you could say. So the path of the World Economic Forum, World Health Organization, you know, stakeholder capitalism. And then you've got the other path, which is people need to go back in here and remember they're free and sovereign, and start to reclaim everything, in-source everything, go to your local farmers, go to Mark Byford, you know, source everything that way, homeschool your children, you know, bring everything back, you know, become your own detective again. Don't listen to anything that's been told to you in the black box in the corner of the room. And I think that's the mitosis that's happening. And I think people are on this sort of point now where they have to make a decision which way they want to go. And I think the more of the 3-dart finish you have, it's going to slowly start to lower your vibration and you know, keep you moving in that direction. So hopefully we catch a lot of I call it the moderates, so the people in the middle. Hopefully we can convince a few of those, because I met my friend the other week, actually, Carly, Ben. He's actually the one that helped me with this stream. And he said to me, he used to call me like, well, he didn't used to call me a conspiracy theorist, but I could tell the way he looked at me was like, John, why are you talking about all this stuff? You know, why can't you just talk about Spurs? But he said to me, he met me in the pub the other week and he went, John, you were right about all that stuff. You were right about that, and you were right about the pedo networks, and it's all coming out now with P. Diddy. He said to me, it's all coming out. You said this 3 years ago. And I'm like, here we go. So these are like what I call the moderates, the people that are they're open-minded, but I just think they're just not really interested in researching. It's just not on the high list of their priorities, but they're open-minded to it. I think we can get a load of those people. Yeah.
I think there's so many of them. A friend of mine, we used to go out with each other 20 odd years ago, but he's kind of a good friend of mine, and I bumped into him not that long ago. We kind of met up, but he was like, you're mad, you know, years ago, and he said, I know, you know, he knows what's going on. He's not daft. He just can't go there. And I think there's a lot of people, like you say, that's that. And when they come and join in, and also a guy I'm working with called the Last Blue Boy of England, and we're doing a lot on void orders. We're going to show people how to void orders from these fake administrative pseudo courts, these corporate courts. So, you know, he's been kind of working diligently in the background, but these people, you know, and it's that meme when the men who are sat on the side, you know, on the fence, not kind of wanting to get involved in it, when they get off the fence and come and join that fight, then, you know, things are really going to like tip again, aren't they? Things are going to turn again.
Yeah. And I really want to start. I really want to put solutions together now. Oh, I'm getting feedback. Hang on, sorry. I really want to start actually doing some things that like put solutions together. So I want to work with Mark on stuff. Bowler Hat Farmer. He's really connecting all these different services in as well. Like you've got the Open Food Network and you've got the Sustainable Directory. And what these things do is they connect you to your local farm online, and then you can actually have that food delivered to you. You know, it's like hooked into a delivery service. We need to start like building those types of things up more, because if we can take the power away from like the Sainsbury's and the Tesco's, and we start reclaiming the food and by supply and demand, I think that's how we hack the matrix. Because I think the system wants us to go, let's get our pitchforks out and like go after the politicians, because they know they can just replace the politicians and everything stays the same. I think what they're frightened of is everyone going, actually, forget that. Let's actually start building our own things, working as communities, and like, you know, starting to do it from the ground up, grassroots. I think that's what I want us to be a part of, that kind of solution orientated thinking. And then maybe we can start our own. I was chatting to this guy called Kevin. I just interviewed him recently, Kevin Annett, and he started his own republic in Canada. So you can actually claim the land and actually have your own jurisdiction. You could have your own sheriffs, if you like, and you can completely have your own land and just do your own thing, and no one can touch you. So I'd be up for doing that. I don't know if anyone else is up for that, but I would love to give that a go, you know.
Well, and I think that's it. And that's like a huge part of it, isn't it? You know, we can keep pointing at what they're doing and the old system. Oh, well, their system, their fake jurisdictions, their fake courts, their fake policy offices, and all the fictions and all the nonsense, because all that system is, at every single point, is an illusion in the minds of men and women. That's it. All it relies on is our fear and their force. That's it. It's not even real. It's not the law of the land. And, you know, even the law is a construct, you know, when you're kind of in spirit and of sovereign mind in that sense. The only true law, the creator's law, is love thy neighbour as thyself, because that's the kingly law. If we all followed that, and there was Ireland used to run under a system called Brecon law. But anyway, without kind of making it too law based, it's about the closest thing to the creator is creation, and he who creates owns, and we create a government, not the other way around. We are the creators. We create the credit. We are the creators, and we just have to remember that the system actually weirdly works pretty goddamn well. It's just that it's been, you know, it's inverted, because, you know, the Zionist 3 markers: subvert, invert, pervert. And that's exactly what they've done. But again, it's about coming up with solutions now. So like at Dark Matters, it's about food, health, wealth, and you know, law, legal, debt education or get out of debt education. You know, we can't give legal or financial advice, but it's, you know, it's all there, and creating a forum and a connective forum for people to be able to come in the private and, like I said, networking with Mark, you know, the farmers, and that's how we take it back. Stop feeding the beast, innit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we can. I think Dark Matters is going to be the place to do that. Actually, I think that what you've got going on is like it's like the perfect hub for all this, you know. So we can, you know, we can get people like Mark in and Pete Stone in, and people doing helping with the remedies for stuff. And you know, create that support network. I think people are crying out for that because everything's so scattered, isn't it? Like, we're all trying to do our bit, but it'd be nice if we had a home we could go to where we could get our parking fines, speeding fines remedied. We can have support, like some kind of support, like advice for legal stuff, and know how to get pure water and food, and I don't know, just and I think that's what's so good about Dark Matters, isn't it? Like, that's what your baby, isn't it? So that's why it's so nice that
it is the baby. It's good that you're involved, John. You know, we've got some really cool people over there. We've got like the canine angel lady, because animal health, that's all, you know, animal farmer. They're doing the same to the pets that they've been doing to us. You know, pets is a commercial term again, so you know, she does some amazing work. We've got home education, and we've just it is about remedy. And the thing is, under superior statute, under constitutional law and the rest, these feckers have no authority whatsoever to be doing what they're doing, and we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. But that means that all your fines, all your speeding fines, they've no jurisdiction over the living man or woman. And I bogged my head over the last 4 years and filled it with so much information. And now it's about bringing it back full circle and keeping it simple. And I'm working, like I said, with this guy. I won't say his name. He doesn't want to yet be revealed, but the time will come. So I'm being a bit of a gob piece for him, being a gobby bird from Bolton than I am. But and he, you know, we're making judges abandon ship. You know, I've just put in a void order. You know, we're not just talking the talk, we're walking the walk, and we're going to show people how to do it. Simple as that. And we're not charging thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, because you're just starting another cabal. You just, this information needs to be out there for the people, and for them to be able to enact it en masse as a swarm.
We're just kind of, I guess you're trying to facilitate people to take charge of their life. That's kind of what it's more about, isn't it?
And if we can, like you said, network in with, like, you know, Pete at the Sovereign Projects and everybody, if everyone can just paddle their own canoes but just start to work together, then, you know, we're kind of cracking it, aren't we? And then we're going to do these events, aren't we, John? Do you want to kind of talk about the pop-up?
So should we talk about that? I'm excited about that. That's kind of like a big buzz, because we had a glass of wine, didn't we? And we were like, why don't we do something glamorous? She said, I really want to do something glamorous. And I was like, I miss the parties. Like, I miss the buzz of that, you know. I like the live dynamic element of parties. And you told me that you had tell me more about, you know, like you had a metal party. Like, tell me about that.
Oh, well, I was a metal music promoter. It started off with indie music at uni, really. And we put out, cutting long story short, I put out a CD called The Definitive Burn of the Big Faces, and then it kind of went massive. And then I started doing events and music events. So I was an events promoter. I had a company, and then I went into Manchester, and as the indie scene got invaded, this is what it was about, really, in many ways, by a load of girls. We went, oh no, so let's put metal events on. So I kind of as my music taste got heavier, that's what we did. So we used to put on. I had a night. Jilly's isn't there anymore. We're underneath Rock World, and we had a night at the Retro Bar in Manchester, and so that's how I kind of that was kind of one of the key things that I did. So I've been an events planner and organizer, and of course we did Spellfest a couple of years ago, which may be making a comeback next year. You know, keep posted on that. So, and I know you've got events organizing, and I don't know. I just kind of thought, didn't we? Just kind of thought maybe do like, no, I don't mean high end as in, you know, we've got a carrot stuck up our ass, all we'll be doing, so do it all high end, but just something with a bit of glamour, and maybe like where I can put a heel on. I can't remember the last time I wore a pair of heels, and like,
you want it like that? Okay.
No, I don't know. Really.
You actually want high heels, because I was thinking maybe to do it in like an outdoorsy thing, but I don't think your high heels would go down well in like a muddy field, would they?
I wonder, yeah, I suppose, like, you know, well, we said, didn't we, that it'd be cool if we can find a venue, and if anybody's got any ideas of venues, yeah, like an indoor outdoor thing we want, don't we? So, you know, something perhaps
Yes.
where even where people can stay over. I know we looked at that gaunt house, like a stately home. I mean, even that was kind of on the table a little bit, weren't it? But anyway, John, I'm rambling on. You tell people about the concept, because it's quite funny, isn't it?
Well, yeah, okay. So if anyone's interested, we put the feelers out, didn't we? We put a couple of posts out, and it went mad. Like there's about 500 people commented on it, and it's called. Well, the working title is Pop Up Pure Blood Party. The only problem with that is I know people, you're going to get truthers going, oh, PPP, that's 666 upside down or something, you know, so I might have to change that. You know what they're like, don't you? So, but no, the idea is I want this to be a party for the awake people, you know, for people that haven't had the jab. Maybe not forever. Maybe that's just the kind of the opening night. Maybe that's just the promo as a bit of a marketing thing, you know, just to kind of get some attention. But I do want it. I do want to do that because I think also, well, it's a bit of fun, firstly, but it's also a little bit kind of tongue in cheek of like, have some of that. You know, we couldn't get into your festivals back 3 years ago. So we're going to, fine, we'll have our own event and we won't have you guys, you know. I mean, it's not a bitter thing. It's just a nice little bit of white magic to the black magic they did on us. And once we've cancelled it out, I'm sure it could become something else. But yeah, I just like the name, like Pop Up Pure Blood Party. And I was thinking just as a bit of fun, maybe anyone that has had the jab, before they come in, you know, they had to make us do like the tests and the things up the nose and all that kind of stuff. I was thinking we make them do a few IQ tests before they come in. So you've had the jab, no problem. You have to go in a different aisle. You have to go into a different queue. And then you sit down on a table and you get all these tests. And it says, right, okay, question 1. All the gyms are shut. The park benches are closed off. But McDonald's is allowed to stay open and you're allowed to buy alcohol. Does this ring alarm bells? Slightly, moderately.
Classic.
You know, you say, oh, we can't. Next question. We can't see Granny. But you know, we're not allowed to see Granny, but you're allowed to go on a BLM rally. No problem.
I know, right?
Because that's more important.
Do you remember that?
Suddenly there's no V when there's a BLM rally. Is this okay? Yeah. Not a problem. Slightly makes me think and question things in the slightest, or I don't care because the man on TV has told me it's a BLM rally and I should go. And forget about grandma. You know, I think that would be quite funny to do some like all tests like that. Yeah.
Fuck grandma is one of the, but that's got a double meaning actually. Maybe not. That's not the best, subtitle. But yeah, we're going to stick magnets on people on the way in as well, John. Like stick magnets on them.
Oh yeah, that would be funny. Yeah,
maybe we could have Matt Steele on the door as a bouncer, sticking magnets on people before
That's hilarious. Oh, was he the guy doing magnets at the time? Was that the guy that was like sticking magnets on people?
Yeah, well, we were at WTF Festival, the Weekend Truther Festival, and the Sky News came. They let them in. It was a bit of a long story. I won't bore everybody with whether that was a good idea or not. But I said, well, they're going to write what they're going to write anyway. What what's to lose? So Mark Steele, one of the head reporter, I forget his name now. He'd had 5. So Mark got a magnet and stuck it on his arm.
Did it actually stick?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's stuck. But he still didn't seem as perturbed as he should be, you know. But there you go. That's Sky News, isn't it? It's the red and the blue. They love that red and the blue. The Doppler effect of Sirius. Red, blue, red, blue.
I might get some magnets and go into town and film. Like I might do that and might stick it on people's arms.
Yeah.
So that's clearly then that's clearly graphene then, right? That's clearly the graphene oxide. Yeah.
Allegedly, indeed. And then obviously, you know, Mark's the that, you know, we can't say too much again on here, but you know, obviously, go watch my interview with Mark, which is on it's on my YouTube channel. You have to then connect on to BitChute and or Rumble, but we talk about it in a lot of depth as to what that means if people aren't aware. And obviously that then links into the 5G allegedly. I mean, the thing is, isn't there, John? There's a lot of fear.
Don't say that. No. That's the video when it's taken down.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it's like, Indeed, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to know what we can and can't say, and that's why platforms that are going to be off, you know, are going to just get more. You know, it's going to become so much more important, isn't it? I know. Well, Neil's Neil I've interviewed a lot. If you've not seen my interviews with Neil, really do, because we're kind of deep diving the history of this land, Great Britain, translating as people of the covenant. And again, it goes back to, you know, the law, etc., and how Rome just came over and hijacked everything, etc., and so on. So Neil's saying that, you know, there's a lot of things said about Mark Steele. He's a controversial character. You know, I think that's the thing in it, John. I think what you've got to do is there's a lot of information and misinformation. We don't know who's who. Back to, like, again, you know, the prostitutes with many fathers, the seed is who knows, and there's not that clear division. So, you know, I always say you're not going to know who all the players are, but know thyself, and that's that sovereign mindset again. I know who I am. And that's what, you know, doing the inner work, man, and the shadow work, and whatever everyone else is playing, that's the game, and that's the bag, innit? You know, it's duality, reality, till you float above it, really. But it's tricky.
By the way, someone just put, oh, can you turn down the volume on? I don't know what I have to do, but I can keep hearing myself echoing back.
On mine, is it? Hang on, let me turn my speaker off. Sometimes it can be that. Let me disconnect from the speaker.
Or put headphones. I don't know.
No,
can anyone else hear echo? Because on mine it's echoing a bit. Let's try that.
See if that is that.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Yeah,
that
works
better?
Well.
Yeah,
that's fine now. Yeah,
it's me then.
Yeah, this is a good idea. Mark Devlin could DJ at the party, the Pure Blood party. Do you know Mark?
Hey, Mark Devlin. Do you know I always make a joke about Mark Devlin? Nothing against Mark Devlin. Hi, Mark. He was like, Mark Devlin. I said, he gets where Walter couldn't. He gets everywhere, that guy. You know, he does some good work.
I know.
It's just,
no, he's a good guy.
It's just one of my little standing jokes. Danny Ramplin as well, isn't it? He's a big awake DJ, isn't he? Danny Ramplin seems to be at a lot of the big awake festivals. And
I think I'm connected with him on Instagram, but I don't really talk. I've never spoken to him, but Danny Rampling, Mark Devlin. Yeah, it could become something, I reckon. You know, I think it could be quite good fun. Like it's got an energy behind it. There's going to be a charge behind it, because there's going to be a lot of people that are just like, fuck yeah.
See, Neil says that Devlin comes from the red hand of Ulster. You know, you've got to watch mine and Neil's videos to understand what Neil's talking about there, because lots of things are linked back to Munster Island, the tribe of Dan, which is why you get the city of King Lucifer, linked to Lucifer. Where King Lu Dan is the 13th order of the dragon, and it's all linked to kind of Ireland and Moo land. You know, the justified and ancients of Moo land. Do you ever remember the KLF song? KLF. KLF's going to rock you. Anyway, they talk about Moo land, and that's why it links to Munster Island and where the tribe of Dan came from, which is kind of like the bad guys, basically, in simple terms. But again, you'd have to kind of watch mine and Neil's chats for that.
Yeah, that's something I've got no handle on whatsoever. I've got nothing to add to that.
That's not. It's too much, really, for the. You know, it's the biggest deep dive I've ever done. So we haven't got time to start getting into that. But I think they're going to be really fun. Is ultimately, because, like you say, we've all been through the mill, haven't we, in one way or another, you know, in the last 4 years. So it's time to kind of turn it back round, isn't it? In every way.
I think so. Yeah, and I just think it would be. I know so many people are crying out to find their tribe. That sounds a bit new agey, but you know, you want to find your people. And like personally, I think it's not just the fact that you've taken that. It's kind of, it tells me that maybe you're not quite my type of person, you know. I'm not saying I would never, you know, connect or date or whatever with someone. Well, I might be a little bit cautious about, you know.
The shedding, he's shedding on me, Sandra.
Death through proxy, but it's also like, it's kind of like, it tells me that you're not really, it's like a bit of an alliance with evil. It tells me that you're not really, you know, you're not thinking for yourself a bit. And it'd be kind of nice just to have a load of people that are all very awake to what's going on, you know, they stuck to their guns, and they, you know, their value system were, you know, in place.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool. Yeah, it was solid.
It's difficult in it, that kind of line, really. I've softened a lot more. I was always very compassionate, you know. I got why people don't get it. I still do. You know, we might have had the odd, you know, joke about me, you know, and the rest of it, but really, I get it. You know, it's a huge psyop. You know, people were so conditioned from, you know, knee high to a grasshopper. You know, I totally get why it happened and why it took such a hold on people. But again, that's because we can critically think, have awareness, empathy, overview, take a step back and look at it, and have the wisdom to kind of differentiate between, you know, what's truth and perhaps what isn't as subjective as truth is, you know. But we can deal in the facts of the case, can't we, really, you know, speaking with a lawyer's head on. But I totally get why they didn't. So, but I mean, I thought to myself, could I date her? I don't know. I think it's always going to be in the back of your mind, because that's almost like a program that we've created, perhaps, you know, the awake non-Jav, like, ooh, I'm not too sure about you.
It's funny though, because I know some quite awake, I would say quite awake people, but they still took it anyway, and I'm just like, why? And they were just, oh, we really wanted to travel, and like, I'm like, are you that awake then? I don't know. It's just it's a difficult one. And then, like, what do you do when you go out? I mean, you almost need them to wear a little badge or something just to kind of tell you that, you know, they're more. Maybe that's what we can do. Maybe we can give people like little badges that they can wear after the party, just to say, I'm a pure blood, come and talk to me, you know, like, come date me, you know. So
yeah, well, like, Neil's saying turning your exosomes off in your RNA is another explanation for, we won't go there, but there's, you know, we know what these mRNA are, you know, and that's part that is it, really. It's that cognitive dissonance that's unattractive, you know, in the main, really, from perhaps, you know, that perspective, really. And like you say, you want somebody in a partner who's perhaps gonna, and, you know, match your IQ level. I don't know. Or that, I don't know. That might sound a bit harsh. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think a chufty badge. Michael Jones says you get a chufty badge. We should give out badges. I think the pure blood pop-up parties, you should definitely get a chufty badge on entrance. So.
Some kind of chufty badge. Oh, I never said, you know, when I used to run my, well, maybe, I don't know if I should say this or not, but, you know, I started my events, right? So back into, well, I used to be a big clubber back in around 2003 to 4 or 5, right? And then I remember thinking, like, I know I can put on a better party than all the ones we were going to. And what happened was, whenever I used to take one of them, I used to always be sick on the dance floor. It was like a running joke amongst all my mates, right? You know, when I was like, so what I did is I called the party Sick on the Dance Floor, and I started. So that was the name of it, and I kicked it off on a Mother's Day. Mother's Day 2006 is when I did the first party in a gay club in Muswell Hill in North London, because it was the only place that I could like hire out. And everyone that came in, I don't know if I should say this. This is going to be clipped up. But anyway, I'll cut that. Or maybe I won't say this bit. But everyone that came in, they got a doggy bag, shall we say? Right. Yeah. And in that doggy bag, it made them feel very good. And that was like the start of the night. We got like 30, we had 30 people come to that one. It was brilliant. They were all like bouncing off the walls. And then the next one we got 100. The next one we got 200 people, and we're like, bloody hell. Next one we were invited to play a second room of like these big clubs in King's Cross, like Canvas, The Cross. There's another one as well in their Key Club, and we and then from there we were like growing and growing and growing. We moved it to a club called SC1, and it got 3,000 on the first night of when we moved it to the new venue. 3,000. And then it was getting regular 3,000, and we'd only done like 6 events or something silly, and it went absolutely through the roof. Even like DJ Mags did a piece on us saying it's the best night in England. They said the best night in England, and I've only done 6 events, and it was like based on the first night within a Mother's Day. So that was good times. That was good fun. Really,
this is what I'm talking about, John. This is what we've got to do. Yeah, this is the vibe. This is the vibe. Like, not so much like I say, you know, me tottering around in heels and a skirt, though. Can I? Can I have the clipboard and one of those things on, like checking everybody in? You know, let's just have a bit of fun with it. But like you say, not so much like high end, like, you know, hoity-toity, but just something with a bit of punch, something with a bit of glamour, something a bit different, something like say unique like that, and an experience, like an, you know, an experience for the evening where we kind of take people on a bit of a journey through it, and but also have a rocking good time, you know, like old school days, you know.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice to kind of involve. I always like the idea of doing some kind of experiential kind of immersion experience, you know, like a proper experience somehow. That'd be kind of nice to do.
Yeah. And I think what'll be interesting is if we can do them as pop-up parties, we can do them all over the country to give people, you know, the chance to kind of, you know, different parts of the country would be cool, and then go back to the same places if they get a little bit bigger maybe, or you know, we can just kind of build it, and then I can, you know, we can give people discounts through Dark Matters, you know, for our event section and whatnot. But I think it would really work. And I think somebody put in the comments, I'm not too sure whether it was Amanda or, forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, but I think a good word they used was discernment in everything, wasn't it, really? You got even people with the highest IQs in this, you know, making a joke about IQ, really. But, you know, people, I think sometimes they can be the worst, you know, especially if they're academic or in some kind of academia. Thinking that, you know, I know I'm right because I've got a degree, a master's degree, I've got a high IQ, and then they still took it. You know, there was no. It's such a tapestry, isn't it? I've always said it's like being awake is a complete tapestry, or aware as I prefer, but it's mad, isn't it? But
what do you mean the tapestry of what? Yeah.
We'll just dance it off.
What do you mean by tapestry?
Tapestry. I suppose, like, you know, like being aware or awake to everything that's going on. It's so multi-layered, isn't it? So you could kind of like, what I always found interesting was like people claiming to be psychic mediums who were double. Like, I'm kind of like, did you not see it coming if you're psychic, or you know, just really weird, unusual, like. People could be awake to so much, but then have still had it because A, B, C, D, H, and it's such a myriad of different reasonings, and I think a lot of it, you know, you can be awake, and we see this in the Truther movement, which is just eating itself alive, really, and it's I you know, literally can't be bothered with it anymore in that sense, because they're all just attacking each other because it lacks wisdom. It lacks discernment, wisdom, keywords like that, and a purity of heart and spirit to that degree. And that's what the pure blood pop-up parties are going to be about, you know, that those kind of, that integrity, I think.
Yeah, I think, and also the kind of the energy that creates it, and the heart-centeredness of it, and the fun that you create, even in the imagination stage of it, like we're doing now, that is going to be the energy that kind of, in my experience, that's what happens. That's going to be the energy of the actual party itself, and then you'll find. I think you'll find you'll get loads of like-minded people come along, and then loads of people are going to make friends with each other. They probably end up going out with each other, and maybe, because I had that at my party, loads of people got together and they end up having kids just from, you know, from coming to the party, because there's such a nice crowd of everyone, like real family, you know, like everyone got on. It's like hundreds of people, and there was like a core following that was there every single, you know, time, but like that core following, they all got on with each other, everyone. It was so nice. Kind
of like a modern day 90s rave scene, in it, really. That's kind of like a bit of that was an energy like back then, like taking it back to when people were dancing and having a good time, or the filming themselves having a good time, you know. It's like, you know, we all weren't doing that, were we? Everyone was like just going for it, and like that kind of energy again would be great to bring back, that kind of free energy, I suppose, to things. Purity to it.
By the way, Jay's just saying here, it's John, shame you got such a negative response from Emma at Imagination Podcast. I love her channel. Strange as we all working towards protecting children. Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about this because this has upset me a little bit. I found this very strange. Is that there's a girl, she's got a really good podcast where she talks to survivors. Her name's Emma. It's Imagination Podcast, and I thought, great. Oh wow, I'm doing that as well, you know. I'm talking to survivors, and you are as well. And I sent a really nice email, and I said, hey, I can see you're doing similar work to me, like you're doing a really good thing. If you ever want to come on my podcast and talk about it, would love to have you on. She just completely ignored the email, like completely ignored it. And then she then went onto her YouTube and did a community post to say, there's people stealing my idea of talking to survivors and they need to give me the credit for it. I'm like, I couldn't believe what I'm doing. As if like talking to survivors is some kind of like trademark. I found it really, really, unsettling actually. And I just thought, what, what's the purpose of this? And anyway, I'd been talking to survivors before her podcast even started with John Wedger, having people, talking about it all. So I just think people really need to get their, when it comes to talking to survivors, the survivors come first. There's no ego. You have to completely take your ego out of it. Completely. It's just the survivors only. You give them a space to talk. You give them a platform, and that's it. There's no like pat my back, give me some love. In fact, I would love it if more people talk to survivors. I'm hoping that when me talk to survivors, other people start channels and they talk to survivors, and I don't want any credit for that. Why would I? So yeah, I feel as though I think that people need to get their integrity right with some of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, and boom again. There's that tapestry. That's an absolute boom example. Say no more, because you can be awake and you can be doing that kind of work and doing good work and then do that. See, and that's this kind of narky ego thing that tends to creep in, and but you shall know them by their fruits. I stick to that. Know thyself, for you shall know them by their fruits. It's like with the law, constitutional law, nobody owns it, and it's not a commodity, and it shouldn't be turned into a commodity. Just like, else we're just as bad as they are. If you're going to put something into commerce and commodity like SRA and stuff like that and say, oh, he stole my idea, then you've really lost the plot and missed the point there,
exactly.
And again, there's that tapestry in action right there, boom.
That's the tapestry, yeah. So I mean, I'm just cut from a different cloth, I guess. Like the reason I do my channel is because I really want to primarily just get the truth out. That's my only real priority of it, because I kind of wrote my podcast off, to be honest, about 2 years ago. I thought this is never going to make me any money. It's not going to be any kind of business whatsoever. I was hemorrhaging money. Like I'm still like I've spent so much money on this podcast. I haven't made any of that back. Yeah, I've invested so much into it. I'm nowhere near even coming close to recouping that money back. Like maybe one day, but my whole thing was like, this is an investment just for the good of like getting the truth out there, and that's why I did it. It's like a passion project, So yeah, that's kind of why I've done it. And it's only like I did the book last year, like I thought I'd try and support my channel with the book. Like I transcribed the interviews with John Wedger, and that was actually pretty good, and that supported me a little bit. But yeah, like I just I think for me it's purpose first, or should we say
definitely
mission first, mission and purpose first, of wanting to really give a gift out to the world. And then if you can try and maybe monetize it in a way to kind of keep yourself financially secure from it, that's like a bonus. But I've always tried to do it like from that way, from the inside out, from purpose first, and then then maybe make a business out of it. I don't know if that's the same for Dark Matters, is it? Did you have that kind of
I mean, the only thing that's ever got me onto a stage, apart from when I've had too many wines and I'm whacking out the karaoke, is the last 4 years. I was just so militant. I just knew, I just knew, and I just shoved a projector in the back of my van, and I told the country, speaking to anybody who would listen, asking, I got donations, 5 here, 10 there, off whatever it was people could afford, so I could put diesel in my van, and that was me for years. I mean, I used to run a group called Bring the Light, and that's a long story that I got stabbed in the back with, so that was me down on that one. I've had a few groups taken down, and I still get back up, and lots of personal trials, and I still get back up. I call myself a bit of a whack-a-mole, John. Like, you remember that game, whack-a-mole? You just keep whacking them all. It's like me. I go, can keep bashing me down, but I'll just pop up a bit stronger, So Dark Matters is kind of the culmination, of the last 4 years. But I definitely don't do it for money. Definitely not.
No,
I definitely do it for, but like you said, there's a big thing in the movement where people, you're asking, look. That my site costs £200 a month just to run alone, and I've done it all for free. But now I'm like, I literally can't pay £200 a month to run it. So I've just switched it over now to £5.55 a month donation, and that's for everything in it. And I'm just it'll go up after that. But I'm saying if you want to become a foundational member now, because I'm going to launch it properly on the 22nd of July. Then we've got Remedy, we've got everything in there. We're going to show people how to set up BSV wallets, which is the original Bitcoin. You name it, we've got it. And if we always say if we don't do it, we know a man who can, which is why I'm running, and I've started a thing called the Dark Matters Directory, which is going to be it connects to the main site. But if you want a holistic dentist in Liverpool, we're hoping that then, these kind of people are going to come in and register on this directory. Like I say, linking in the farmers, linking in the healthcare, linking in, abilities to create wealth. Because this is a great example of it, in it, John. We've been taught scarcity and lack all the time. That's what they've taught us as debt slaves. Everything's scarce, everything's lack. When actually, we've all got these bonds worth millions anyway, and we all have our equitable share of the earth and its resources. So there is no scarcity, there is no lack, and when we start to take that back, and that's what we're going to show everyone how to do at Dark Matters, that's what we do, then, it's about changing our mindsets again. So yeah, you deserve to be able to, if I could just pay myself a wage doing what I do, would be a goal for me.
I love it.
Like I say, and I'm sure it'd be the same for you. So that, we've put everything into this, because I have done it for love, and I know you have, and I have done it from a pure place of heart. Have I always got it right? I can't say that I have, I'm not perfect, but I'm learning every day, and we just keep at it, don't we? Because we do it for love, not money, but the money's appreciated to help us to continue to do it.
Money is appreciated. If anyone wants to put a super chat in, I don't know if people can do super chats on this, but if anyone would like to try giving us a very small super chat just to see if that works, that would be most appreciated. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm hoping that it will reach a bit of a tipping point where we start to have a bit more influence. And like Richard Vobes is like great. He looks. Have you met him? He looks a lovely guy actually, and he seems like he's got a good product and product placement, and I can. That's kind of what I want to have with my channel in a way, something similar, not his style, but with my own style, and doing a lot more. I want to do more street stuff and interacting and.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does quite. I've met him quite a few times. Yeah. Sorry, John.
I like his. I like what he's done with his channel, but he's had his channel striked, isn't he, recently? So, up against it all the time. Yeah, I know. Yours just came off,
and he's just released a really cool video, and that's how, again, if we all work together, a lot of people contact Richard about stuff that they know about, because he's got such a big following, and they've just put a video up of how to discharge your utility bills with the barcode. Now, I've had success in the past discharging utilities with promissory notes and the bank gyro credit slip. But this is another way. So again, we're going to show people how to. We have a group in Dark Matters called Study Buddies, where we're going to take a topic like this that Richard's come out with and done an amazing video on this morning. If people haven't seen it, go and watch it on his channel. Obviously, he's not on his main channel at the moment because it's had a strike. He's on his backup channel. So again, that's something like we do in Dark Matters. Right? Okay. Come on the lives, or the Zoom with the spell, which is included in your membership, and we'll all test it out. Another thing, let's test it out, because it's about remedy and changing everything and removing ourselves from the system. But it's kind of like that, be of the world, not in it. Keep one foot in each canoe. Really, that's how we do it. And Richard's great at that. He's got a great crossover ability, hasn't he? And then that leaks into certainly what I do, because I can pick up on that and go, and I can run with stuff as well. So we're all part of the same cog, aren't we? Hopefully. But yeah, he's very good. You'll reach 100,000 soon, John. We'll be having this chat again.
Well, I don't know about that.
Next year.
I don't know. I think I had a good wave of people recently, only because I interviewed someone called Amanda Byes, and she did like this 3-hour presentation on Nephilim, fallen angels, the Book of Enoch, hybrids, all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, straight white guy. Oh my God. You're a legend. Oh my God. How do I? Oh man, thank you so much.
Straight lives matter. I love it.
We made it, Carly. We've made it. We're going to get a bottle of wine now. Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you, mate. That's so sweet of you.
You can take that bottle of wine, John, for your 10k subs. Good to you, brother.
Oh, that's so
You
sweet.
can send me a
Thank you,
picture of you drinking it
mate.
later, just to torment me.
I've just
Oh,
stopped
thank you
drinking
so much for
alcohol
that. It's
actually
very
recently.
kind. Thank you.
Yeah, very kind. Yeah, that was lovely of you, mate. Where were we? I don't know what I was talking about there. That kind of
Richard
threw me. But
Phillips, I think we were kind of
I know
touching
I was
on.
about to say, oh, Amanda Byes. No, Amanda Byes.
Oh,
Yeah, so I did this.
then.
She did a
Right, yeah.
presentation for me for 3 hours, and I think she then went on like a bigger podcast, and she mentioned my channel, and then suddenly like that video went from 2 grand to 38 grand in a week views.
Wow.
So that
Amazing.
kind of, I think I got about 1,000 subscribers just from her doing that. But
Wow, that's
what's
cool.
Neil's name?
Yeah.
Book of Enoch, Irish Nephin, Irish Fallen Angels, the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Well, this is what me and Neil are deep diving, you see now. I mean, we're quite niche at Dark Matters, I ain't going to lie, because we're going in some rabbit holes that, you know, they blow my mind. And Neil studied this stuff for 25 years. So, yeah, the Tuatha De Danann, the Irish and the Nephilim coming from here, from these lands, etc. and so on, which a lot of the, the Vaticanized timeline won't tell you that. But, hey, we tell you the truth that Dark Matters, or the truth, you know, our truth. As factual as possible, pulling a thread. But yeah, it's super interesting stuff.
Wow. Okay, so like what we're told about it really originating from, well, where's it say they originated from? Like the Middle East, you know, it's not. Is that right? So it's basically saying that it's actually on our shores. It's kind of here, right? That's where it started.
Yeah. And I think what they're trying to do is that don't look over here, look over there, you know, and actually, I mean, it's a lot to get into. And again, you know, if I say it once, I'll say it a couple of times. Go and watch our videos with Neil where we deep dive it. And we're just about to record soon the next in the series of the videos I'm doing with Neil, which is basically we are going to deep dive how Ireland was Atlantis. You know, our land, England, was called Albion, Albo meaning white, the land of giants. That's what this land was called, hence to the Nephilim. Scotland, the Holy Land. There's another guy called Stephen J.D. Beatty. We're going to put on a live event, hopefully, with Neil and Larry Cypress, another guy that I interviewed. We're literally, as above, so below. The constellations from the sky are literally in our landscape as well. And where I've thought scripture, and you know, it's your script, you know, basic instructions before leaving Earth, the Bible, I've always said it's a code. It's astrotheological, it's anatomical, and allegorical, right? But I had this revelation recently, right? And I thought, oh my God, it's both. So what I think is happening is, like John, when we were saying the Earth's an eyeball.
Yeah, that was like I had this like weird, and then the other guy came on and said it as well. That was like my biggest sort of,
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. I think we are such powerful creators that we are seeing scripture play out because, you know, our consciousness has been hijacked and they're hijacking and resetting the story. But I do think that it's anatomical. I think, you know, our father's temple, the pineal gland, you know, in the land of Peniel, you know, Jacob in the land of Peniel, Jacob's ladder, all this stuff. But it's also about this land. I think it also happened. Honestly, it's you know, we're going to be really going into this at Dark Matters on the podcast, like, because it's all things at all times, and our limited primitive cerebrums can't hack that. Even I couldn't hack that. I only came up with this the other night, and I thought, oh my God, it's both.
It's funny though, because I had that weird like vision that we live on an eyeball, right? And the only reason I started to come to that conclusion was that if there's a constant kind of divide between round Earth and flat Earth and all that kind of stuff, right? But if you actually look at the eyeball, you see, you know, you have the pupil in the middle, and then you have like the kind of the land, you know, which is like the actual eyeball itself. Or you could say or maybe the iris would be more. The iris would represent like the land, and then that is a kind of a closed off system, and then potentially that could be it could be fractal. So what you're living on is, it's like you say, it's expressed in different ways through the eye, but also in the world that we're living in. What have you got there?
Right, this is my technical drawing, viewers, right? So this is an eyeball, right? And I'm probably explaining this very badly. And there's if people are interested in the videos, they're in Dark Matters. But if you want to email me, I'll send you the link to this video because it's super interesting. And we won't go into it dead deeply, but that's an eyeball, right? So, you know, they're arguing that it's flat or it's spherical, right? And this is this big division. I think it's both at the same time. So I think it's spherical and it has this inner earth here. But you see this where I'm putting my pen, that bit. If you look at the inside of an eyeball, it looks like that. And I can't remember what that tunnel's called in the eyeball. But basically, that's that bit. Straight is the gate, narrow is the way, and few there be that find it, right? Because that links into our pineal gland, into our pituitary gland, into our bodies being the temples of God. But it's dead deep in it. But basically, you heard it here first. Maybe you heard it before, actually. Because
we live on an eyeball.
We live on an eyeball.
Also, I was thinking, look at the word Bible. I was thinking, could that not mean the bi-eyeball? It's the bi-eyeball, the Bible. I was thinking even that,
the Bible. Oh my God, John, you're right.
And then
are we mad?
I also Darren Dio, we're just having a thought experiment moment here, guys. Don't because I was also thinking Darren Diog's got some great stuff on this. I haven't spoken to him for a while, but I really love his stuff. But he talks about the fractal element that with the I and the I. So the self is represented through the I. So the eyes are the eyes, like all the different individuals, So it is fractal in that sense, I was going somewhere with that. I can't really.
No, it makes sense. I followed it.
Eye to eye, pupil. It's but there's definitely something in that, I think, definitely.
And it's like what Neil's just put, we look at the double slit experiment. I've never done a double slit experiment myself, so I question everything, but I know about the double slit experiment, and that obviously we create our reality by when the particles going through create the dots or the wave. When we observe it, don't we? It needs the observer to create it, and hence why you get all the entanglement and whatnot. You can tell I'm no scientist. That's a terrible explanation of the double slit experiment. So please do go watch a video on it and don't listen to that. But in general, of course, that's kind of the general theme. But yeah, we live on an eyeball. I'm pretty sure. I'm convinced, and I think it's this thing again: as above, so below, so within. So as without, is it so within, so without? And that's literally what it is. To the note. The land represents. They call in legal terms, the land is the body that they have stolen, right? But the land is also, as we stand on Israel, because this land is, the true Israel, the lost, the British Isles, and they're telling us it's over there when it's not. But it's also, like I say, of the body as of the land. It literally is as above, so below, so within, so without. Like literally, it's all things at all times. And everyone arguing who's right or wrong is the funny bit, because it's all right and it's all wrong at the same time. Right, it's paradoxical.
I do believe it's kind of fractal, isn't it? So it's sort of, there's a universe that has its own eyes and consciousness, whatever, but then it also expresses itself in this carnation of us and our eyes and our consciousness and our mind. Even the planet might be a representation of a human body. I've seen
it is
about that. The pineal gland could be representing a part of the Pacific, which is, I think Mark Passio did a thing about that where he says and then the cerebellum could be the Middle East, where all the kind of the wars going on, all the kind of, and that represents the fear. So you have like the Pacific and the pineal gland in the back. You have the cerebellum and all that fear, and that's actually expressed in the planet. What's going on in the planet. I think that's. I thought that was kind of interesting. It make a lot of sense actually, and that would be fractal in that sense. Yeah.
I'm boom with that, and I think we can't fathom it really, like I say, with our limited cerebrums, but like again, Neil, every option is played out until you look at it. The power of seeing it creates the reality we expect to see. Because the other thing is, we're all on our, that Donnie Darko thing when he has that timeline coming out of him, and he's kind of got his fate and he follows it. We do kind of create our own. Again, it's paradoxical. I believe in scripted reality that has free will choice. It's always a paradox, and all these paradoxes can and will be resolved, but not in the third dimension, not in the way that we perceive this place at this time, until something shifts collectively. Hence why I think it's a bit of a timeline war, a bit of a timeline split. Again, without going too wacky and woo, people are like, what the fuck are they talking about? But everything works still frame to still frame, moment to moment, which is why in space time, as we experience it here, space is the field and time is the river. Outside of that, in 4D, time is the field and space is the river. So from outside, where these perhaps dark controllers or archons are, I mean, archons perhaps for me are just wanders above, but say you're talking about Anunnaki and whatnot in fourth dimensional negative time space that were created allegedly by the Orion group, which is why they all worship, you know, that constellation and Sirius and the dog star and all that. That they can view the timeline because they can view every still frame like that. You know, like if a shutter on a camera. So if I do this, I've got the illusion of movement of my hand, but actually it's a still frame photo like that. And that's how they can control time. And CERN, etc., have admitted, haven't they, that they're interdimensional timeline dipping. They're messing about with the timelines without a shadow of a doubt. And that's the kind of weirdness to things that we're seeing. And I think that's what's going on. And we're all time travelers.
I think they have quantum computers, quantum devices. They can change. They can change past events, like Schrodinger's cat. They can change the potential of certain events from the past to create new futures. I think they've spoken about. I had a guest on, and I'm going to publish it this weekend. She talks about that as well. She was stalked by Freemasons in America.
We just did the same comment at the same time.
No. Hang on. I didn't write that.
Did you not write that? Or did it?
No, you write something. No, it's done a double, I think.
Is it done a double? I thought that was weird.
Type it again.
I thought we were kind of that psychically connected. Sorry, John, continue. No, so the guest I've got coming up this weekend, she talks about a guy that she dated who is in the Freemasons. I think it's called the Eastern Order, something about the Eastern Order. And she says that they were telling her to join because they've got quantum computers that can change the past, which sounds really freaky, but it's like time travel. And they can basically keep changing the probability of certain events so that it can create a timeline that's most suited to them. So yeah, it's kind of freaky stuff, you know. And that was back in 2006. She was told that. Wow.
So God knows what they've got now. God knows what they've got now. But I think maybe we have, through the power of our own mind, the ability to time travel as well in a certain way. Because I think there's things like matrix energetics you can look into. Is it Richard Bandler? It's a Richard something, but he talks about how you can actually change the you can change your reality by actually changing the path somehow. It's kind of interesting. I did a workshop on it, but it was a while ago. But there's a lot of freaky sort of stuff now sort of coming out that's possible. But my thing is, we are more powerful than these kind of cockroaches that are trying to run the show. That's what we need to remember.
Exactly.
We've got the divine, if you want. We've got source energy is what I'm saying. We've got the divine source energy. We've got the real version of it. They're doing the kind of photocopy version. And we shouldn't really stress about these people, should we?
No, we are more powerful than they are. Like, they are cut off from source, so they want us to be also. And that's the bit that they're trying to keep down, because they know if they keep us with toxic food, toxic relationships, toxins in the air, toxic everything, keeping us consuming in commerce, keeping our frequency and our mind state low, they win. We're still the battery, we're still the food. We raise out of that and remember who we are, remember what this land is, remember our true history. We are the species with amnesia, and when we remember that, it's game over for them. So shut them up, and kill as many of them as we possibly can. Shut them up, and take as many down with us as we can, and then we might they think they've got one more kind of chance really on it, but they don't win.
Do you think that I get the impression that they know they've got one more chance to get it right, and that's probably going to be the next rollout of that and the Agenda 30. I feel like Agenda 30 is their last hurrah, because I just think they cannot keep things up with all the pedo networks and everything else. I mean, we know now, like, the entire royal family are all pedos. Like,
well, and it's just
it's
survival. Jimmy Savile, you know, even Keir Starmer, like, you know, couldn't find any evidence on him. And yeah, okay. Like, are people still going along with this? You know, and these politicians, many, ticks, parasites, it's all in the language. You know, they're nothing. Just take them down, take them all down, and give the power back to the people. You know, the parliament is the people's parliament. We create and enact, and this is the power of trial by jury. This is the power of taking back. You know, even the Constitution is as powerful as it is that we can utilise for remedy. Don't get me wrong, and it's an absolute huge bullet. But as much as it even that's a construct. Talking spiritually, you know, again, when we all raise out of that. You know, we see self as other self. Love thy neighbour as thyself. You kind of don't need any laws. Love is the law, man. But it's cheesy, but it's true, you know.
No, it's true. Yeah. No, I think it's going to be kind of interesting times. It's going to be scary. We're going to lose a lot of people. It's going to be a bit dystopian, but I don't know. There's going to be some gold to come out of it. Hopefully in my lifetime as well. I want to see some good stuff. Yeah,
because do we have to come back? Like, I'm an old, so I had 3 light beams at the end of the bed tell me I'm a time traveling lunatic. So, but the thing is, like Michael was saying then, these great resets, that's what they're doing. They're resetting time. It's all about time to these. That's what they're worshipping, and the zodiacal wheel of time is just putting us into age after age after age. Now, is ascension an individual and or a collective thing? Both. It can be both, but if it's not going to be a collective thing, this reset, because the game's just reset and the game will reset again for those that don't get it, maybe on a different timeline. Maybe, you know, this is this split that we're going to see as we return to the land. Remember that we're sovereign people under the creator, with the power of the people under the creator, and so on and so forth. Like, you know, no biggie. But till then, we'll party like it's 1999, you know. Pure blood pop-up parties.
And we've got the pure blood parties. We're going to get people involved in the pop-up pure blood parties. By the way, everyone, if you're watching, thank you for watching so far. I don't know if you could comment, just let me know. Did a notification pop up to let you know there was a live? I noticed that there's some weird thumbnail going on. I don't know how that's happened, but it looks really odd. I might have to change that after, but yeah, was it okay for you to find this live? Did it kind of pop up for you? Oh, that's good. Melly's saying yeah, because it's our first one here. We're having a bit of a trial run. We nearly did this for Matt Letizia, and it would have been an absolute disaster because we were like fiddling around so much. But yeah, so Melly's saying yeah, it was easy. Okay, cool. So I mean, there's 23 people, so I'm guessing it must have worked somehow. I don't know if there's a way to promote the live before you do the live. I don't know if someone knows how to do that, can let us know. That
there is, because Peter Wilson, he always promotes his lives before they come out. I could ask Peter.
Right. Yeah, we need to ask. We need to get some more help with. I'm sure it doesn't take too long to work this out, but yeah, we still need a bit of help with all this before we can invite on guests and you know, and also this is going live to your YouTube as well and your Facebook. So
yes. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I realized why it didn't work before. It's because we can only do 3. I can only put 3 destinations in total. That's why.
Yeah.
For this band that I've got for this you know, tier that I'm paying for. I think you can promote a week before the event. Yeah, okay. But the thing is, we've only just started the live today. So how can you promote it? How can you promote the link?
Yeah.
Melly's saying, what's your YouTube channel, Carly?
Oh, let me get a link for people. Bear with me. I'll pop it in the chat. I mean, I'm a baby in comparison to our John. Like I say, I wouldn't say podcasting and interview was my thing. My background's law and legal, but you know, what one tries. But we're quite, we deep dive some really cool stuff. So yeah, check us out and subscribe if you would so wish. There's the link. Absolutely. But I'm Dark Matters on YouTube, or Dark Matters Network. I am on YouTube, but that link should take you straight there. But thank you everybody if you subscribe. It all helps with the algorithms. And
do you want to stick that? Do you want me to create a banner? Let me create a banner for you.
Okay, cool.
visit darkmatters. What is it? Info.
Oh, my yeah, the website is darkmatters.contact, www.darkmatters.contact.
That's it. All right, I'm going to do a banner. Watch this, guys.
Oh, can you do that?
Watch this.
Hey!
Hello, look at that. Hey!
Check it out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, please visit Carly's website here. She's doing such an amazing, she's got such incredible vision here with this platform. You know, think about it, guys. You go on there and you have people that can give you support over your legal issues, you kind of like your parking fines and your speeding fines. I'd love to do with you, Carly. I'd love you to help me discharge my university debt that I haven't even started paying back yet.
Yeah. I mean, those are they're akin to mortgages. That's that scam. I mean, they never loaned you anything in the first place. Same as with your mortgage, you know. So yeah, I mean, a lot of those loans actually, John, because you know, I won't reveal your age, but I think you're a couple of years younger than moi. So they got sold off to debt companies. So a lot of companies writing to you, masquerading as the student loans company, aren't even the student loans company. They're just allowed to use the name to try and recoup the debt, and the debt statute barred anyway most of the time. So again, I run debt courses because the thing is, you can give a man a fish, or you can teach a man to fish and he'll eat forever. It's all that kind of thing. So the debt course that I'm running at half price at the moment. It's got 3 modules, which is direct debit reclaim, DSAR, data subject access request, which is such a powerful tool because debt companies don't buy debt, they buy data because debt's a fiction. How can debt be bought with debt? It doesn't exist. And we do the main debt course about how money's created, how to, you know, hopefully, well, we get rid of them, but we take it all the way if necessary to court with affidavits, and we do fee schedules and we turn the tables round on them. So it's powerful stuff. If you've got assets, we have people who can set up trusts, all kind of, you name it, we've got it. And like I say, if you direct message me if there's something you want, then if I can't do it, I know a man who can. I'm a bit of a Del boy like that. 4 years of this game anyway, you know.
I think Peter Wilson I interviewed has good stuff on how to clear the debt collectors stuff, you know, the debt that you get.
Peter was going to come into Dark Matters, but he was like, I don't want to step on your toes because he does something very similar to me, but I still love to have him in there anyway. We still promote him. And like I said, there's no competition. We have the Goodism in there as well, which I mean, the Goodism are just absolutely, you know, into the quantum grammar, setting up trusts. You know, Andy Truman from the Good and Richie and Nige, they're just, their minds are just off the charts. The stuff we're doing with the last blue ball of England with the constitutional law, we're about to blast it out of the water. If we're not doing it, we're about to. So, you know, it's totally worth the donation to help us just cover all the costs of the work.
All right. So tell them the process then. So let's say they were to go on to Dark Matters, right? What do they what can they do to join? Like,
oh, well, Michael Jones just said, thanks, Michael. That's very kind. Because he just said, Dark Matters platform is amazing. It's like Facebook for the awakened. Because there's a forum on there. Members can talk to each other. I mean, we have everything on there. We do lives. And the lives are ramping up. Like this Sunday, we've got an exclusive live with a guy called Paul, who we coached through the court. And the judge abandoned ship. And he came out, you know. So this is powerful stuff we're doing now over at Dark Matters. And so he's going live in the network on Sunday. So basically, I'm running it. It'll be £11, 11p a month. But if you want to come in now as what we call a foundational member, it's £5.55 a month. And that includes everything. And that helps us run the site. And that's as much as we're doing at the moment. But I'm trying to build the membership up. We're bringing all this remedy in. And then it, like I say, it is like a Facebook for awakened souls. I mean, we have the occult section in there. We do events, festivals, you name it. It's all going on in there, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And John's in there as well. You know, which is brilliant. Me and John do some cool stuff together. We're going to do some more cool stuff together because we have a good laugh, don't we? Well, thank you for the people who are on here who are already members and supported me. I do genuinely appreciate it. It means it makes all the difference, doesn't it, John? Even if it's just a little bit, if it can add up to keep me, because this is my work. You know, I don't do anything else, and I've done it tirelessly for the last 4 years, and now it's all kind of coming together, which is brilliant. But I want to give that out. you know. And I don't want, I'm never going to charge thousands and thousands of pounds for what I do, but if everyone can donate a little and we get a good membership, then yeah, that'll do it. We can really push it. It's going to go in a trust as well, with the good and all kinds of interesting things. It's going to be turned into a private, unincorporated association, so it's all going to go in the private.
Yeah.
Soon.
It's completely in your own hands, isn't it? When you're in a trust, you're completely outside the system, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we have people come in and talk about asset protection, wealth management, all kinds of stuff. And like I said, I'd love to connect with the farmer Mark, because that's a big section that I want. You know, we've got an admin team now, so I've got an admin team. It's amazing. So it's going in the right direction. So yeah, it'd be good if you come and join us.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's really good. Yeah. And it's nice that we kind of joined forces, because it's just another way to accelerate the process between our channels and get the network out a little bit more, isn't it? Yeah, cross-pollinate.
Yeah, I think what you do is ace, John. Like, you know, and we just, like I said, we just get on, don't we, and have a good laugh. Yeah. We could just talk for England, couldn't we? About some of the topics.
That's why we live stream, because we can just talk for hours and it's just like easy.
yeah, it's awesome. I love it. It's groovy.
Just for everyone watching here, by the way, the Matt Letitia interview is going to come up after this. It's also available on Dark Matters, right? So, or not
it's
yet?
It's in Dark Matters, and you get everything else with Dark Matters as well. But yeah, of course, support John.
Yeah.
But if you want to come and see what we do, that'd be amazing too.
Because, like, just to warn everyone, it's only 25 minutes long, because they deleted, didn't they? They deleted it off YouTube, the full version. Yeah. So I've only put 25 minutes up with Matt, and then I've encouraged people from my channel to go to my Patreon. But if you also go to Dark Matters and join up there, you can watch it. So either or, really. But apologies to anyone hoping for the full interview, but YouTube didn't like it. Couldn't have us talking about Matt's opinions on what's going on in the world. God forbid. So, but yeah, that's
maybe
just kind
about the kind of footballers fainting on the pitch, you know. And I don't mean fainting, but you know, I mean that's the other thing, isn't it? I was thinking about, you know, football pitch. It's about frequency in it, and the stadiums are like big eyeballs. Give them circus and give them bread in it. It's a big energy harvest. We know.
Someone's just asking for my YouTube channel. I thought everyone came from my YouTube, but they're coming from yours as well, aren't they? Obviously. Let me just I'll put that in, and then
cool.
That's mine, everyone. If you want to check that out. Yeah, completely forgot. I thought these were just mine, but they're probably mainly your audience.
Yeah, no, it's going to mine. I had a look and it's there.
Yeah. So who's come from? Hands up, everyone. Who's come from Carly's channel? I'd be interested to know if you could do a thumbs up or something, or just.
Dorian.
It'd be nice to know. Do you recognise some of these people?
I do. I do try and respond to every comment, even if the comments are, yeah, Carly, can you shut up? Like, yes, me. I'm aware of it. Don't worry. I'm addressing it. I'm a Spurgic and I get a bit giddy and I get carried away. So I'm just my nature. But thanks for being here. Awesome.
Okay. All right. So you got some followers here.
Oh,
mainly.
Thanks,
guys. There's a couple
MK
from.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Yeah,
MK Ultra. I like that. That's a great name. Brilliant. Oh, that's good to know. All right, so yeah, we've got a good mix of people from both, and that's nice.
Cool.
Yeah, going back to what you said about, you know, the football pitch, right? So I got this from Darren Dioge. He was the one that opened my eyes to this. But if you not just think about when you play football, right? Think about how many words there are to do with sound, right? When you score a goal, you score a score. Yeah. What's a score?
Yeah, right? Yeah, like a musical score. Yeah. Oh shit!
Yeah. So why would it be called a score?
Football.
That as well.
Rugby ball. You know, we all know who ball is. Moloch, MLK. Oh my God, John! I've got to tell you this quickly, and we'll get back to the football pitch, because this blew my mind, right? And it was a friend of mine who told me this. You've got it off this guy's channel. I can't remember it. Enter the Stars, I think his channel's called. If you want the link to it, email me. But and this fits in with the work that you've done with, satanic ritual abuse, and we all know what Wayfarer did with the really expensive wardrobes named after people that have gone missing and whatnot. Like, hope that don't get removed. Anyway, MLK, right? Obviously, because with language and etymology, we look at root words, don't we? So you've got MLK, like Moloch, MLK, milk. Now we know that milk is a bathometical symbol, especially in the music industry. When they're always in baths and they're pouring themselves with milk. Now, what do they put on the side of milk cartons in America? Missing children.
Dead people. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
Missing children.
Missing. Yeah.
And it's MLK. It's all linked to milk. So it's just another way that they rub it in our faces, but they're telling us at the same time, milk. When it's poured on top of you like that, it's kind of it's a ritual. And that's why they were doing music videos. Yeah, you always get them either in baths or pouring milk all over themselves. That's what that is.
That actually from a ritual. They do that in rituals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
MLK got milk. Anyway, back to the football pitch. I just interjected. That's a really good example of me getting over.
I suddenly realised that was the only 2 sound words in football, but there's loads of sound words that in front of us. So you would say like a note of paper. A note, right?
Yeah.
An invoice. You would say your body's made up of organs. Your body's made up of organs. That's musical. You would, when you die, you decompose, don't you?
Wow.
And then I would say, come on, conduct yourself better. Come on, compose yourself better.
Wow.
So there's loads of these sound musical words. Even the universe is the one song, right?
Universe, yeah. It's all frequency, isn't it? You'll have to write these down for me, John, because I'm totally stealing these.
Yeah. No, steal them. And then, so there's that. Darren's the best for that, like all the sound words. And then you've also got, like, there's some words I think that are to do with lights. That was just my insight that I had. Because you have, like, if you take the word site, so if there's you're building on a site, that's also, it's SITE, but it's SIGHT, isn't it? Site.
Yeah.
And then when you or you could say it's on there's a scene, SCENE, right?
Yeah.
That's like scene, like the past tense to scene. So I think there's also light and vision words as well as amongst all the sound words.
Yeah. So because that's in scripture, isn't it? Yeah. For those that have eyes to see and those that have ears to hear.
Right. Yeah.
Frequency and sight.
I think it's sound. I think we live in sound, vibration, light, and probably geometry as well. Geometric shapes, sacred geometry. I think it's probably those 3 all together intertwined.
Wow.
What's happening here? So very good. I'm kind of right. Everyone, with the Letitia thing is going to be starting soon on my channel. If you'd like to go and watch that, the John Cooper Show. If you're new to me, by the way, I'll just plug myself, and then Carly, you can plug yourself to my audience. But my channel, I've been interviewing guests for the last 5 years. Started off just as maybe personal development and psychology, philosophy, but then it got more into, well, all the clown stuff happened in 2020. Went into that. Then I started talking to detectives, John Wedger. Started going into the satanic ritual abuse. And that really got my interest. And I was like, wow, this is like really tapping on like the most like fundamental darkness on the planet. So I kind of went off on that tangent for a while. And I've spoken to a lot of survivors who have gone through this, even murdered kids themselves when they were in the rituals when they were kids. It's it's really, really shocking. I've spoken to guests who were groomed at Disneyland to be with MK Ultra, and they became assassins, CIA assassins. And they could be hypnotized using certain commands. It's really, for me, it's like a car crash. I have to look at it, it's like, I have to go there. Like, I need to know what's going on. So as dark as it is, I really want to like go in dark matters, right? I have to, it's important. You can't just bypass it. If something's going on like that, you need to know about it. We need to kind of shine a light on it. So I try not to get too, I think the key, Carly, is not to get to get into such a low vibration when you take on that work. I try and do it from more of a spirited, lightheartedness, but still taking the subject seriously with the guests, but not allowing myself to get drawn into that energy of that, because then I think I would go insane, you know. So that's kind of how I do it. But yeah, I'm also going to, in the next few months, I really want to start going back out on the street and doing more. I've got this new. Okay, did I tell you my new idea, Carly? It's called you know the social distancing project. Sorry, you know the social distancing, right?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be funny to do a playlist called the Social Undistancing Project, and then like go on the street and just like bring people together and like bring randoms to have like a random like on a table have some drinks or something, or just rehumanize a little bit. You know what I mean? Kind of like the free hug stuff, but better than that, better ideas than that. So that's going to come as well on my channel, I think, because I want to I want to diversify a bit more. But for everyone here that's new to Carly, you have Dark Matters. Why should they join? Why should they join your YouTube?
Well, I suppose, like I say, I've spent the last 3 years on the road, really on the ground. I've got a law degree, that's my background, and I was a yoga teacher until the pandemic hit, and I just knew, and I just went back to my book. So I've kind of been at this game for the last 4 years, and it's kind of culminated in Dark Matters. So I know when I first started the podcast, because that's something new, and I'm finding my feet with that. So like I say, it's a bit of a new baby. That I wouldn't say it's my natural state. I'm a nerd, really, with a passion, and I try and do it with pure heart, etc. And I suppose what I'm about now is solutions, like you just stated there, John. We've got to kind of keep lighthearted. We've got to kind of keep pure-hearted. It is a frequency, and I think it was interesting. I had my astrology chart done, and my first house, or my first temple, is Libra, which is law, justice, etc. and so on. I was like, well, I know I'm Libra ascendant, that makes sense. But I also had Pluto, the Lord of Death, or the Lord of Hell, in my first house at the 11th node or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was. And she said, yeah, the Lord of Hell runs through your veins, because my sister died when I was 11. She said that's when it happened. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. I was like, no way, like in scripted reality. We have got to break through this zodiacal wheel of time type of thing. But and I suppose that's me, really, and that's why the dark matters, because people say, why do you call it Dark Matters? And it's never underestimate the power of the dark side. And I think we've got to kind of, if you're going to be a warrior in this, you do have to kind of mine your own dark. I'm not saying I'm boiling bunnies on a weekend. I'm not dark like that, but I mean, alchemize and dig into your own dark, and then utilize that to go at what we need to go at, and to change the things we need to change. But also, the love and the light is that we are creating the new, and that's what Dark Matters is about, really. Like, know yourself, know thyself, accept thyself, become the creator, but also to have practical remedies for legal, lawful, health, wealth, spirit, events that connect us, forums that connect us. So and it's getting more and more awesome by the day, and I've managed to pull in from all my connections in the last 4 years. That's what it is. It's the Dark Matters network. I've done the networking for you, and I continue to do so. So it's just getting stronger and stronger and bigger and bigger. So we're a family. I'm in there every day chatting to everybody. We do study buddy groups. That's coming. We're doing all sorts, and the promissory notes are coming. We're doing all kinds of stuff. So yeah, come and join us. It's like, join us. Never underestimate the power of a dark side. Sorry about that.
It's like a cult. It's like a friendly cult. No, not really. Please go and visit Dark Matters. I think it's such a great vision, and it's going to be a great platform. By the way, everyone watching here, if you want to watch the Matt Letitia interview, the 25 minutes of it anyway, unfortunately, it's only going to be, we only really talk about the football side of it, because as soon as it gets into anything more juicy than that, a YouTuber gave us, didn't they? They had so if you want to go go to my YouTube channel, and you can watch that. And we're going to do these again, aren't we, Carly? We're going to probably bring, once we've got the hang of this anyway, because it was a bit fiddly today, but once we get the hang of this, we'll bring on guests and do more lives, right? And it will be more of a panel, and we can, have. But for now, I guess, That's it, isn't it?
John,
Thank you for
I
watching,
I just have to put this one in, John. John, who
Go on.
is in our network, he paid for the year up front, and he said, "Can I pay for the year up front?" I said, "Yeah, of course you can, John." And he paid. It works out as £6. £66.60, like 666, and I was like, "Oh bloody hell, John! Don't be telling everybody that." But according to
Yeah, I
Neil,
know.
that's not the true number of the beast. It's 616, but that's another podcast. But yeah, we'll definitely do
Oh, God.
do these again if people enjoy them.
If
Hopefully.
people want them,
Thank
yeah,
you,
then we'll
everybody.
do that, and we can maybe even bring on people as well who are in the chat. You know, you never know. We can maybe bring on some people. So,
Yeah.
all right, everyone. We'll see you all over on my channel for the Matt Letitia 25-minute kind of
It's a really
part
good
of it. And all right, everyone. Thanks, Carly. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers. Bye, bye.